All right, peace and love, world. Welcome to another episode of Conversation with Zoe. This is episode 103 with my guy, my OG, my uncle big time, Sean Atkins. Baby.
Yes, sir. Yo, man, good to see you, baby.
Listen, L.E.S, this is for you.
For sure, always repping Lower East Side.
I'm saying, how you been, man?
I'm good, man. Happy to be here. Happy to spend some time with you, watching you grow. So yeah, I'm a little nervous, but excited about
You're gonna be good.
about sitting down with you for sure, man.
Yeah, absolutely. So we're gonna give you your flowers first, cause it's that important. You know what I'm saying? So I've reached out to some people.
Okay.
And they sent you some nice stuff. You know what I'm saying? So we're going to lead it off with Antonio Aponte. He says, I love you. You represent L.E.S. pride in the impact that having people in your corner to provide a pivotal moment can produce. You, Lorenzo, are also a brother of that opportunity as well as am I. He now does the same in his work as an access professional and as a husband and father. Pa'lante siempre.
That's love.
Coach Bill.
Sean's
the best. That's it.
Right.
Sean's the best. Mrs. Salvatelli. Shout out to Sean for always being positive, seeing the best in people, and filling the Suffield Academy community with awesome, interesting kids. Right there.
I appreciate that, yeah.
Coach D. Couldn't hold water on this one. But he's family. Still talk to him almost daily and appreciate how he always keeps it real. Come on, B. Manny Maldonado.
L.E.S. brother.
L.E.S. brother. Sean Atkins is a diamond in the rough that has a heart for the diamond in the rough, who values education and empowerment. What makes him great is he is able to see greatness in others that don't see it in themselves and bring that greatness out them and celebrate them for it. John Lopez.
My brother.
Few people have a heart as big as that of Sean Atkins. His commitment to his community is immediately felt, and that extends from his family to his colleagues, advisees, and friends. He's the kind of guy who gives you the shirt off his back and sacrifice his own benefit to see you thrive. Everyone should be so fortunate to have Sean Atkins in their life, a true leader and a phenomenal human being. Guess we got to go to the...
Daddy, you are the best.
You know what I'm saying? We got Juliet with a voice note. You know what I'm saying?
Thank you.
And last but not least, your wife. I will eternally be in awe of the husband, father, and man that you have become. A product of the L.E.S. with all odds against him. To be able to strive and rise against all adversities is such an inspiration to all that cross your path. Know that you have made an impact on the lives of many, including me. Continue to be the powerful voice and motivated to the youth that you encounter, especially the ones from disengaged backgrounds that believe that success is beyond them. Inspire them to believe otherwise. Way to go, King. Appreciate you, Sean.
Yeah, man.
You know what I'm
That's
saying?
good. Yeah, that's
I literally just did that last night. Like, I did it with my other guests, and I was like, yo, like, let me reach out to people that, you know, are in this guy's corner. And, you know, wifey helped me out with some other people, and I just, you know, Coach D and, you know, J-Lo is my guy, you know what I'm saying? So, you know, thank you for everything, for real.
No, I mean, I'm proud of you, you know.
Thank you.
So I'm fortunate to be in the position that I'm in, you know. So we're watching young people grow. That's the true essence of it all, you know.
Yeah.
Somebody gave me an opportunity, so I still remember that young brother from All Hallows.
Yeah.
You know, coming into the office, playing baseball. So BX for sure.
Yeah,
So,
all day.
you know, it's neat to be here, man, and so those words are great, and I try not to take that for granted, for sure.
Yeah. No, you definitely deserve it all. Director. So for those who don't know, Sean Atkins, he is the Director of Admissions and Financial Aid at Suffield Academy.
Yes, sir. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So introduce yourself to the world.
Yeah. Sean Atkins, Director of Admission. Well, I'm Sean Atkins from the Lower East Side first.
Fact.
You know, father, husband, friend. But I'm fortunate to have worked with many young men at the Boys Club, and now young men and women in the role of directive admission and financial aid at Suffield Academy. So I never thought that I would get that opportunity. I had people that believed in me. And again, not to say the word again, I try not to take it for granted and strive to make our community better at Suffield Academy, for sure.
Absolutely. So we're going to take a deep dive in. How was your childhood?
Man, like a lot of young people. I grew up in the projects, Jacob Reese projects. I always loved for my D block and everybody down in Jacob Reese. But it was tough. You know, my mom, unfortunately, had a drug addiction, and my dad was in the streets a lot. So early on in my life, in terms of the two-parent household, I had two people in the house, but there was a lot of stuff going on, and they were trying to survive because of the cycle. But so it was tough, you know, it was really tough. But I had grandma, I had Nana, you know, and Titi, you know, on the other side, really helping me and believing in me and showing me a lot of love. So, I navigated through that, and a lot of that has to do with the Boys Club in New York. So childhood was tough, but there was always love. Which is I feel fortunate to have that love.
So who kept you on the right track?
Man, they say a village, right? You know, so many people in the Lower East Side. My father was a good dude, man, well known in the Lower East Side. You know, he was trying to navigate through things, but him and my mom separated. And as my mom really went down, you know, battling that drug addiction, luckily my father realized at 6 that if he didn't get me out of that situation with my mom, that it was. So it's interesting. It's a real story. The cops came to my house. I was 6, knocked on the door with my pops and simply said, you know, young man, this got to be illegal, but young man, who do you want to live with? Your mother, your father. And my mom had just actually had like a semi-overdose like 2 weeks before that my pops had found out. And I said to the cops, I think it's better if I live with my dad and my grandmother. And that was really it. You know, I went with my dad and my grandmother. So from 6 to 13, you know, the real formative years of my life, my dad really stepped up and got his act together and really used the Boys Club as a way to keep me off the street. So it's definitely him, you know, especially until 13 and until I went away. And then the Boys Club really came in and put me in a situation to be successful.
What's your first memory at the Boys Club?
My first memory, man, shout out to my man High. He passed away about 3 years ago. Me and my cousin, he couldn't go to the store to get a Snickers. And he sent us he gave us $1 to go to the store. And me and my cousin took the $1, split it, got each other a Snicker bar. And we got in trouble for that. And that's actually like my first real memory at 7, getting in trouble. And they called me into the Explorer director's office, or the midget director back then. And I got in a little bit of trouble. And that was my first time actually getting in trouble and somebody telling me what's the right thing to do. But out of that situation, Hiram became my best friend for, you know, over 25 years. But that's my first real memory of the Boys Club, for sure. I'm not even gonna hold you. That's for sure. That's the first one.
So you got introduced to the Boys Club at a really young age.
Yeah. You know, I think it was really to get me off the street. My dad was working, so it was an after school program, if you will. So I don't remember a lot of those years. It wasn't until I really got into basketball where I started, you know, group clubs and all those types. So 10, 11 is really when I became serious about it every day. And it was a safe haven for all the kids in the neighborhood in the Lower East Side. So, it's been a part of my life forever, for sure.
So this is the 90s.
Yeah, this is 90. You know, I'm 88, but 91, 92 when I recollect like really getting involved with the Boys Club and really taking advantage of all the opportunities that it was able to provide me.
So what does L.E.S. look like then?
Man, Tompkins Square Park was full of drug addicts, man. You couldn't walk. And that was right across the street from the Boys Club. You couldn't walk through there. It was dangerous. But you had to walk up from Avenue D for me to Avenue A. And there was it's the gentrification, you know, obviously that you guys see it as what some people might call the East Village wasn't there.
Yeah.
You know, so you basically, if you got from Avenue D, if you was Jacob Reese, you had to get past Avenue C and get the compost and make sure there was no problems over there. And then Avenue B, you were good when you got to Avenue B.
Yeah, that's
you
a
know,
fact.
and then up to, but it was different, man. It was a different vibe. There was dilapidated buildings, unoccupied buildings everywhere. So you know, you were dogs running around everywhere.
Yeah.
So you know, you were skating to make sure you got from Avenue D to Avenue A.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
For sure, man. So when did you start to fall in love with sports?
You know, like the role that you play, man. I had a coach. His name was Eric Cepeda. He's the first person that really made me believe in myself as a basketball player.
Yeah.
And it opened up some doors to me where we would travel to Harlem and do some different things.
Yeah.
So that's when sports became, you know, girls started getting into it a little bit. You playing in tournaments, people know you.
Yeah.
So Big E had a big role in it. And then the confidence grew, right? Then you start playing baseball, and you start doing flag football, two-hand touch, and I just became confident because that was a way for me, in some ways, to get my anger out, my frustration, where I could show that I was good at something.
Yeah.
You know, and I felt comfortable competing. I like to compete.
For sure.
As a young man.
Yeah. So then, how does boarding school come about?
Man, all the good kids, you know, all the good kids were getting the opportunity to go to boarding school.
Yeah.
And I had the opportunity to go away at 13. A gentleman by the name of Brad Zervos, who's probably the person that, you know, you said who kept me on the straight and now. Brad is the second person that really believed in me.
Yeah.
And he said, look, I want you to go to boarding school. I think you'll be great at St. Andrews in Rhode Island.
Yeah.
And I said, back then, they told you where to go to school. But I never brought the paperwork home because at that time, so much was going on in my life. I just felt that I wanted to be a Lower East Side. I wanted to be the guy. And the Lower East Side, going to boarding school was so far-fetched. So I didn't do it.
Yeah.
I never brought the paperwork to my dad. So I missed out on my 9th grade year, really started struggling as a freshman or as a 9th grader.
Yeah.
And Brad actually saw me in a tournament that summer and basically said, here's the paperwork. We're going to your house. Your dad's filling out the paperwork.
Yeah.
And you're going to Darlington because I want you to be as far away as possible.
Yeah.
And that's really how it came to fruition. Yeah. And all of a sudden, that was July. Second week of August, I was on my way to Rome, Georgia.
Wow.
And really had a culture shock. But it definitely started my odyssey or journey, if you will.
Yeah.
That really brings me to where I am right now. But yeah, boarding school was something that the Boys Club was placing kids all around the country.
All around the country, yeah.
And it was great, and you heard about it, but I wasn't ready.
Yeah.
You know, and luckily Brad saw me and really took a chance on me.
Yeah.
And it really changed my life forever.
Yeah. What were those first couple of weeks like down in Georgia?
Man, it's such a good question. You know, many people don't know Northwest Georgia. Rome, Georgia is in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
And you taking an African-American or Black and Puerto Rican kid from the Lower East Side and placing them in this place. And number one, everybody was saying hello and how you doing.
Yeah.
My roommate's from Saudi Arabia.
Yeah.
I'm like, man, I don't belong here.
Yeah.
You know, this is not for me. And I actually did another pivotal moment for me. Back in the day, if you were in 9th grade, you took sequential 1, which is algebra 1.
Yeah.
So they put me in geometry. And I took a test, and I got a 25 on the test. And I called my dad and said, I'm not smart enough to be here. I don't belong here. You know, this is not for me.
Yeah.
And I don't want to curse too much, but he basically said,
say what you got to say.
He basically said, stop being soft, if you will.
Yeah.
And another word that maybe is, this is a life-changing opportunity. He said, don't call me again.
Yeah.
Unless you need something. And that tough love really, really helped me because my relationship with him was deteriorating, but I felt like it goes back to confidence, right? I felt like he believed in me.
Yeah.
Don't call me again about something like this. If you need something, call me, but don't call me about failing tests. You got to figure it out.
Yeah.
And I figured it out, you
Yeah.
know, and but it was tough. You know, I think I wasn't mature enough to be there, but there were people there that helped me.
Yeah.
And academically, and then I had basketball. Right, I was going to the league. Right,
Yeah.
5'10" power forward. I was
That's a
going to the
fact.
league, and you know that didn't work out. So I started playing football, and everything just fell into place. Good
Yeah.
people. You know, I was relatively a good kid, and I took advantage of all the opportunities that was given to me.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So when did you start to feel comfortable at Darlington? Was it like mid into your freshman year, or did it take you a year to get comfortable? Or your freshman or sophomore year?
I started my 10th grade year, my sophomore year.
Okay.
To be honest, I was never really comfortable.
Yeah.
You know, I'm forever indebted to the opportunity that Darlington gave me.
Yeah.
I had wonderful experiences, but rural Georgia wasn't ready for young people like myself.
And what year is this?
This is 96, 97.
Wow.
I graduated in 99. So it was a tough experience overall because of not only the socioeconomic piece, but they were 30% boarding, 70% day. So it was a totally different dynamic.
Yeah.
So I can tell you, reflecting on it now, I was never comfortable there.
Yeah.
And even though I feel I go back down there and I experienced some really great things down there, I'm still not comfortable when I go down there now.
Yeah.
So I never really felt completely comfortable, but I felt like I belonged.
Yeah.
And I would say that was probably when my mom passed.
Got you.
My mom passed while I was there, and
Wow.
so many people at the school rallied around me. I get emotional, you know, because she had just gotten her life together, and you know, really, you know, I could talk about it, but you know, really got her life together. I talked to her being an addict, got out of jail, opened up her own halfway house to help young black and brown women
Yeah.
get out of the situations that we're in. And so she passed, and it was tough for me. But the school did a tremendous job of holding me up.
Yeah.
And supporting me, and flew me down there and checked in on me. So that really helped me. So in some ways I never felt comfortable, but I felt the love.
Yeah.
They cared about me.
Yeah.
And that forced me to settle in and buy in a little bit more
Yeah.
to what the school was offering.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So when do you start to flourish in football?
After I was going to, after I realized I wasn't going to the league.
Yeah.
Senior year, I played football because that's what you did in Georgia.
Yeah.
And we had a pretty good team. So I played nose guard and at Darlington. We won a state championship.
Yeah.
Playing the Georgia Dome.
Yeah. That's fine.
Just an amazing experience. And those brothers that were with me on the team, that was a unique experience. And that's something I'll never forget. So I had success, I was all area, all state. But they didn't really know what to do with me because there was no recruitment or any of those things. It was really Brad at the boys club that told me to start looking at these small liberal arts schools.
Yeah.
But I had a lot of success senior year. But they all came out of nowhere. I was never thinking about playing college football. So after the season, I had some Division I schools that were interested in me, went on some visits. Had a couple NAIA schools, like really heavy football schools, but I went to visit Williams, Bates, and Middlebury.
Yeah.
And I fell in love with those schools. But I had some success there, and I decided at that point that I want to use this vehicle to help me get into a better college.
Yeah.
I had that wherewithal.
Yeah.
Which I'm fortunate that I was going to use that to get into the best possible college.
Yeah. So what made you pick Bates?
The funny story is Middlebury. I went ED to Middlebury. They told me I was their number one recruit and I didn't get in.
Yeah.
So no shout out to Middlebury, man.
Yeah.
I still hold that against y'all. But my man Jason Patterson was at Bates, a Lower East Side Boys Club guy.
Yeah.
And my man Shaz, who's from the Bronx. Shout out to my man Shaz. He went to Darlington with me. He was looking at Bates. So we went down together. He was going on just to see the school. They had a weekend for minority students.
Yeah.
And we went down there together, and the coach said, I'm gonna put the ball in your hand. I know you want to be a running back.
Yeah.
I know you play defense. I'm gonna put the ball in your hand for 4 years.
Yeah.
So I said, if I get it, I'm going. Now that Middlebury shunned me a little bit,
Yeah.
I'm gonna suit up for the Bobcats for sure.
right.
Yeah. So and so that was the best choice in my life.
Yeah.
Besides getting married, the best choice in my life
Yeah.
was going to Bates College.
Where's Bates again?
Lewiston, Maine.
Lewiston, Maine. So now we go from Rome, Georgia to Lewiston, Maine.
Yeah.
So before we go, how were your experiences every time you came back home? Like when you come home on breaks?
Yeah, that's a great question. I remember there was a young brother that you had on here when you first started the podcast, Boys Club guy. Shout out to him. He reached out to me the other day. You know, identity is an interesting thing, man.
Yeah.
The one thing that was always love about the Lower East Side was everybody knew my dad. So there was always an outpouring of support. So I never really experienced those identity issues because I was always able to be Sean.
Yeah.
But it was hard, man. You know, you're trying to balance lifestyles in terms of who you are and trying to figure out how I can be my best self.
Yeah.
But I grew up with cats that always held me accountable.
Yeah.
That I'm still friends with. So when I came back, I would see them. The summer we in the projects, listening to music, trying to make the best of it, playing basketball tournaments, doing those things. So I didn't struggle with that too much until I got to college, after college. But it was always love in the Lower East Side. And the Lower East Side is the biggest place in the world at that time. Even though I've traveled a little bit, I felt like the home always made me feel comfortable. So I was fortunate. I was always excited to go back and show off what I had learned, you know, on my journey. Yeah. And my brothers always never let me, they didn't care what I did. Yeah. They don't care what you did, state championship. I don't care about Donaldson. You're not D1.
Yeah.
You know, so I was just Sean. So tiptoe Sean with the big calves.
That's a fact.
Yeah.
Yeah. Did you ever feel like you lost any friends, or did you ever get the talking white? Did that ever come up?
Yeah, I think sometimes we're conditioned to project our insecurities on people. And luckily, as much as my dad and I, you know, we butt heads, he always kept me grounded. And he was a DJ, he was a hustler. So I was exposed to so many different types of people. So I met a bunch of white people. I met different people from different countries, and you know, I just always felt comfortable. And I'm biracial, so I never really experienced that. I would say the biggest thing for me was like kind of who do you think you are type of thing. Yeah, you know, that you think you're better than me, right? And I was able, you know, I was able to pass. I was able to do you know, like I was able to survive. Yeah, you know, and so no, I didn't really experience, but I did see that from a lot of other people that went to that from the Boys Club. I was just fortunate. I always kept a small circle too. So, but that's definitely something that we do that's unfair because we're all trying to progress. Yes. And speaking, I don't want to say intelligently, but we could be who we are. Yeah. And be able to articulate ourselves in ways that that make us feel comfortable within a wide range of people.
So, 7 touchdowns. Got to talk about it. What were you feeling that day? Like who was it against?
Against Bowden, man. You know, it's not something that I really like. I really like talking about. I don't think it's that. It was a great performance, man. Yeah. You know, it's an NCAA Division III record. I tied it at one point. For me, we beat our rivals. Yeah. My senior year.
You showed out.
And I showed out.
Fact.
You know, so for me, that was, we beat Bowden, you know. So anybody that went to a NESCAC and competed in those conferences, there's a level of respect, but there's a level of, I don't want to say hatred, but, you know, those are your rivals.
Those are your rivals, yeah.
So for me, we didn't win a lot of games.
Yeah.
But I met so many great people. The culminating part, we were trying to change the program to beat Bowden and do that well. Yeah, it was an amazing day. Yeah. You know, but honestly, I think about if there's a thing on ESPN that they did this whole highlight. I was running through some big holes too, man. Yeah. Like, you know what I mean? You know, so yeah, it's amazing. It's something I'll never forget. It's something that but that's a small part of football. But winning with my brothers, against Bowden, and winning the CBB, which is the Kobe-based Bowden, was probably the best part of it for me. Yeah. I still remember the last time I touched the ball, and I scored it, and that energy when I came back.
Yeah.
And it was always about, we just beat Bowdoin. It wasn't about me scoring 7 touchdowns.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, it was great, man.
That's awesome.
I wish I could go back sometime to that.
Yeah.
To that.
So what was Sean like in college?
Man, you probably might have to you might have to ask some other people in terms of. I think for me, Bates forced me to appreciate learning.
Mm-hmm.
In high school, sometimes, especially for people like us, you got to get to the Suffield, to the Darlington, to all these great schools. You got to do well because you got to get to the next place. For me, I learned how to learn.
Yeah.
So that was an amazing time for me because I was actually taking advantage of all the opportunities.
Yeah.
Other than that, I was just like any other college kid, man, having a lot of fun, hanging out.
Yeah.
I spent a lot of time with, it's a small school.
Yeah.
But the institution is tremendous in terms of challenging young people to be at their best academically. And it gave me confidence.
Yeah.
Well, I belong here.
Yeah.
I'm not a football player.
Yeah.
Nobody cares about Bates winning football games.
Yeah.
I think they care about learning. But yeah, so that's the big takeaway.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I was a little bit of a knucklehead and running around thinking my first couple of years thinking I was doing something amazing.
Yeah.
I'm on the football field and then realized that I need an internship and
Yeah.
need to figure out what I was going to do with my life. But I the learning for me and the people that I met,
Yeah.
man, it was a tremendous experience
Yeah.
for me.
So that kind of goes into what does education mean to you, and what has it done for your life?
It's provided opportunity. I'm not. It's a vague term, right? Education. I was educated by the streets first.
Yes.
I never hustled. I never did anything like that.
You had to survive.
But I had to survive, and
Yes, sir.
my family, good or bad, was entrenched in that. So I learned so much. I always felt I was very street smart.
Yeah.
And I still carry many of those things. So that's the first education. And then I think the nonprofit sector, that being the Boys Club, and the impact that coaches and mentors have, that education piece was important because it provided me with confidence that I'm more than a rapper. I've never rapped, by the way.
Yeah,
but you know that old cliche that Big said. Education was an equalizer.
Yeah.
I mean, when I got to Darlington, even though I struggled on that geometry test, I realized that I belonged in that space.
Yeah.
And I was smart enough. So the education gave me confidence.
Yeah.
And it also knocked me in my ass a couple of times. You know, realizing that there was so much that I needed to learn to be at a certain level. But in terms of what it means to me, I think not to harp on it because I know you probably. It's what you make out of the idea of education.
Yeah.
Because a lot of us are not afforded the same education.
Yeah.
So, but I've always been excited about learning.
Mm-hmm.
I was looking at the encyclopedia, obsessed with JFK and the Loch Ness Monster. I believed that at that time.
Yeah.
So that thirst for knowledge has always been there for me.
Yeah, that's beautiful. What does the Boys Club of New York mean to you?
There's no conversation right now for both of us without the Boys Club of New York.
Facts.
The organization is changing like everything else changes, especially trying to survive in New York City as a non-profit institution. But the countless young men that he gave refuge, a home, a place to eat for some people.
Yeah.
Is the Boys Club of New York, not the Boys and Girls Club of America, the Boys Club of New York, what it did for me, it changed my life. It changed my life. And at a time in my life when even though my dad was there, the Boys Club raised me.
Yeah.
So I'm forever, when I think, I'm a Harriman guy, but shout out to Flushing and JP, Jefferson Park, and obviously Pitt Street, all my Pitt Street brothers, my Milliken brothers as well.
Yeah.
it affected so many young men. My only wish is that young women had the same opportunity that I had at the Boys Club in New York and all those locations. But I love it. If I had it, if I was into the tattoos like I was when I was young, I'll have it. I'll have it on me, for
And
sure.
You know the SA.
Yeah, that's for sure, man.
Let's go.
Yeah, it's everything.
What does get you right? What does get your mind right be mean?
Get your mind right.
Get your mind right, B.
That's the Sean Atkins, like one of my favorite phrases, man. I think the essence of it is take advantage of this opportunity.
Yeah.
Be present.
Yeah.
When people are trying to drop jewels on you,
Mm-hmm.
Be focused. Get your mind right. Be here. Understand that you're gonna meet people that are gonna help you shape your life. So, it became a joke, right? But as it had an impact on you, you got to be right. You got to get your mind right. This is you have to take advantage of these opportunities. You know. So, one thing that was important for me when I realized that I can impact young people is that you got to be current.
Yeah.
As you get older, you got to make sure the young people relate to you.
Yeah.
So, I probably stole it from somebody. I can't remember.
Yeah.
Yeah, get your mind right was my way of getting young people to listen to what I had to say.
Yeah. So what are you saying nowadays? Are you saying no cap and all that?
Nah, that's not something I would say.
Yeah. No kizzy.
I don't. I think that part for me has I've evolved. I definitely when I'm with my friends, there's different things that I say.
Yeah.
But that's a good question, man. I think honestly is I need y'all to be present.
Yeah.
Be here with me. Be here in class. Be here when your parents are talking to you. So I've been talking about that a lot. Just making sure young people are taking advantage of the jewels that are dropped on them.
Yeah.
Because people care, right? And I believe you meet 5 people in your life, you're gonna meet a lot of people.
Yeah.
I truly believe you're gonna meet 5 people in your life that are gonna shape you.
Yeah.
And are gonna have a tremendous impact on you. Could be hopefully it's more positive than negative.
Yeah.
But I believe in that. And the way you deal with adversity is really what shapes you as a person.
Yeah. Absolutely. You remember the story you told me about you had a gold chain on in the supermarket? How did I was trying to remember it, but what was that story?
Man, so I was in I had a Cuban, like I was just getting some money.
Yeah.
I wanted to make sure I was doing the club thing. I'm working hard and wanted to look good. And I ran into somebody on the board of trustees.
Yeah.
That were at the Boys Club. And that was connected to Suffield, and ironically.
Yeah.
And as soon as I saw them, I tucked my chain in.
Yeah.
Because I didn't want them to think that I don't even know, like I was urban or I was street or whatever it was. I just got shook.
Yeah.
Because I didn't want that person to see my element because I was afraid that they would forever pass judgment on me.
Yeah.
And the same thing happened with a parent actually too. So what happened after that happened, I got really emotional, because I felt like you've worked so hard to be who you are and affect young people. Why do you have to compromise the fact that you want to wear a chain?
Yeah.
So I sit here before you. I got, I try to support black business, man. I got here, God, fear God. I still dress up. I want to wear suits. I want to look good, but this is who I am.
Yeah.
So that was a moment for me. So I try. Obviously, if I'm doing something, I'm representing the school. I'm always representing the school, or representing my family. I always try to look the part.
Yeah.
But this is a part of who I am.
Yeah.
So you got to evolve and do those things. But yeah, that's crazy that you bring that up, man.
Yeah.
Because that was a pivotal moment in my life.
Absolutely.
Now, if the chain is out, the chain is out.
The chain is out. Yeah, yeah.
I don't have any more chains. If my son probably has them now, but but I still try to look nice.
Yeah. So
that's real. Right?
Yeah, I remember that. I just couldn't piece it all together, but I remember the chain and the.
I was disgusted with myself.
Yeah, remember you telling me that. So, what were you? Did you go from the Boys Club to Suffield, or what were you doing before you got to Suffield?
I was at the boys club. I've only worked 2 places my whole life.
Yeah.
You know.
You still got the Honda Accord?
No, I don't have the
Got
Honda
the
Accord.
Honda leather
That's
seats?
Don't ask
Yeah.
Yasmine Atkins about the
man.
Honda Accord.
Oh,
I
man.
got rid of that, and I thought I was doing something to get a lease, and it was
Yeah.
a huge mistake. So that's a touchy subject. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, that was my first car.
Yeah.
I've only worked 2 places my whole life. You know, one thing about me, I'm a passionate guy. I'm a loyal guy.
Yeah.
And when people believe in me, I'm ready to maximize that time and do whatever I can to help that organization or that institution be successful. So
Yeah.
it was time for me to move on. It's a funny story, and I'm blessed to have my son here, who really changed my life. But he was born, and we were trying to figure out how to navigate New York City. It was expensive, and we went to a preschool, and it was $27,000 from 9 to 12. You know, for him to go to preschool. And I looked at my wife. I was like, babe, how are we gonna do this?
Yeah.
And she said, you know, you're so passionate about boarding schools, maybe you should look at a boarding school.
Yeah.
And I started applying and looking at different schools, but it was my relationship with Jeff DePelto
Yeah.
and Nisa Bryant, you know.
Shout out to Coach D and
Nisa.
definitely shout out Miss Bryant.
Miss Bryant, for
My lady
sure.
right there.
She's a tremendous
Yeah.
educator and been helping young men and women for a long time.
Yeah.
Truly a queen in the independent school placement.
Yeah. Nah, she's the GOAT. She's
Always,
the GOAT,
man.
for sure.
So yeah, I mean, those are the only 2 places I worked. So I had those relationships, and I was ready to do something different, you know.
Yeah.
And obviously, you know, shout out to X, you know, Xavier Pollard,
Yeah.
and you know, and your crew that was there.
Yeah.
There was a level of comfort because I wanted to always make sure that I was going to have a positive impact on everybody.
Yeah.
But you know, people like yourself, that's what motivated me, you know.
Yeah.
So I was fortunate. That's why I chose Suffield. Ultimately, the comfort,
Yeah.
the lack of pretension, and the vision.
Yeah.
The vision for the institution was amazing.
Yeah.
But yeah, only worked 2 places my whole life.
Yeah.
You know, so 20 years.
Yeah.
Not 8 at the boys club and going into my 13th year at Suffield.
I was hyped when you came, you know, and part of you seeing me grow up, like I tell you, I kind of saw you grow up too. Like from where I met you, where your office was at the boys club, to now you at my boarding school. And from you met me at Ohio's, and now we in Beverly Hills together. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like me from the BX and you from LES, you know? So
Full circle.
I think that's the beauty of it, and all of us seeing us evolve, you know? So what should an advisee expect out of you?
Passion, accountability,
Yeah.
food,
Yeah.
you know, but more importantly, a person that's going to support you the best that they can. And I believe that's true with the majority of people that work at Suffield Academy.
Yeah.
I think it's a very unique place where we're able to meet kids where they are
Yeah.
and help them evolve. And it lacks pretension, but it has all the facilities and the vision and the support
Yeah.
systems in place.
Yeah.
But for me, more importantly, and sometimes you get asked, it's a lifelong relationship.
Yeah.
You know, for me, I'm always going to be your advisor.
Yeah.
You know, whether you're 14 or 25,
Yeah.
I'm hoping to go to weddings every now and then.
Yeah.
But the true essence of the work that I do is watching young people grow.
Yeah.
So you develop a stronger relationship with your advisees, but
Yeah.
I'm also watching all 410 people that enroll at Suffield
Yeah.
and get on their journey. But
Yeah.
that's my favorite part of the job.
Yeah.
Is being an advisor. 85% of
Do
the time.
you have like a top 5 advisees?
So I don't think I could do that, man. But I'll say,
all right, just throw some names out there. Throw some
but
names out there.
I've had, you know, always shout out to my Jamaican students. You know what I mean? They there's always love when I go to Jamaica.
Yeah.
I love all the students that I've encountered. I'll be on and listen. I don't know who's gonna watch this. I hope a
Everybody.
lot of people watch
Come
it.
on.
But
We're gonna get 1,833 views.
I
how we
like
gonna do
that,
it.
1833.
Yeah. Let's go.
But number one for me, for different reasons, is Jalen Sinclair.
Yeah.
You know, I remember watching Jalen as a 7-year-old, and he said, "I'm gonna go to." I had just started working at, maybe it's 8 or 9. I just started working at Suffield. He said, "I'm going to Suffield."
Yeah.
So, you know, Jay went to Cardigan. Boy Scout kid goes to Cardigan.
Yeah.
From the Lower East Side. He comes to Suffield, has a great experience. Division I basketball player going to Lehigh. So for me, that's been one of the greatest joys of my life is watching him
Yeah.
grow.
Yeah.
You know, that's my guy.
Yeah.
But I love all the kids, man.
Yeah. I mean,
I can't believe you got me to get emotional on this joint, man. But that's
No, we're going. It's
that's-
conversation
yeah,
with
that's-
Zoe, man.
that's
You know,
my-
I'm your guy. You know,
yeah,
I'm
that's
gonna set
yeah,
up the questions a
that's my-
certain way.
I love him. You know,
Yeah.
I love all those kids,
Yeah.
those young men and women, and all. But Jay is he's a special young man. He's out to fight. He has a strong queen that has raised him. So I'm forever proud of him.
Yeah, definitely shout out to his mom. She's an amazing woman.
Sure.
You know, I've seen her really, really by his side. I met Jalen at Camp Cromwell, and I went to Suffield. So that was kind of like that connection that we always had, and us talking about it, and him ending up there. You know, great kid, great smile. You know, great charisma. Fashion wise, he's like he give me swaggy P energy.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
He's a very swaggy guy.
He's
you know what I'm
definitely
saying?
moving out there, man.
Yeah,
He
yeah,
helps
yeah.
me out. He takes care of me sometimes. And
Yeah.
there was a funny thing on Twitter, on Instagram. You know, there's the dump, right? You fashion dump or this dump.
Yeah,
So I said my family was in the Outer Banks, so I say
Yeah.
family outing to the Outer Banks dump.
Yeah.
He calls me. He's like, "Oh, gee, you can't do that anymore, man. You looking crazy on Instagram. You just got to put Outer Banks dump or something like that."
Yeah.
So, you know, but yeah, I would say watching him graduate.
Yeah.
You know, hopefully I'm excited to have my son graduate. But that's been a powerful moment for me. And something that I'll hold on to. But all the boys club kids who are men now.
Yeah.
It means a great deal to me.
Absolutely. What are some of the misconceptions about admissions?
Admissions at boarding school?
In general, like, because it's not an easy job.
Yeah, I'm blessed, you know, to be able to try to cultivate a community. I think number one, it's difficult, right? You have, you know, for us, we have 270, 280 students already enrolled.
Yeah.
And our goal is to get 130 more.
Yeah.
And there's so many dynamic young people that interview at so many great schools.
Yeah.
And we're trying to get the best fit for Suffield Academy.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of thought that goes into this process in terms of hoping that we're the right place for that particular child.
Yeah.
So I think the big misconception is that sometimes, they just get to travel to all the cool places and interview.
Yeah.
And really just chill most of the time. Yeah. But for me, it's the pressure. I feel pressure all the time because Suffield, and I've said this a lot, it means it's a place where I grew up into the person that I am, the profession that I am. So I want to make sure that we get the right kids to go there. But it's a science to it.
Yeah.
You know, there are all these schools around the country, around the world. But the hardest part, I would say, is you can't give access to everybody.
Yeah.
You know, and that's something that I had to grow and evolve and take leadership from. You know, I had a school to understand that it's about the school first. Yeah. Right, and trying to get the right people there. So, but I mean, I'm also I get to travel. I get to talk to families every day about the people that they care most about.
Yeah,
I'm fortunate to be there. But it's a lot of pressure.
Yeah,
you know.
No, I could definitely imagine that. You know, you meet so many different people, and you want to make the right decision because that's just like you said, it's a pivotal part of their journey. You know, so it has to be a good match for both sides.
And I want everybody to speak about Suffield the way that you speak about it.
Yeah,
I want that for every single student that you know, so that's special to me.
I've had, and I'm glad I get to say this with someone who feels the same way about Suffield that I do. But the opportunity that I earned and I was given at Suffield Academy, it gave me it was where Zoe was born. You know, like I wasn't Zoe in the Bronx. There's that energy wasn't around me with the obstacles and the adversity that I faced every day just getting to school. And I remember my first day of school, and you know, I'm going, and every couple steps looking over my shoulder. Just like I come from that environment. Like you may look once, nobody look twice, boom. Like look 3 times, somebody running down. Like it was just that. The South Bronx was like that in 2005 and 2006. So for me to get to Suffield, I remember I went I went behind the gym. I went down the stairs, cried real fast. And I told myself, you're not there no more, bro. And I flourished there because I got to be a kid for the first time in my life. I was so on point every day. You know, I had fights before school before. Like, I don't know what bacon, egg, and cheese was done wrong or what dudes is angry about.
Trauma.
But it's like, here I am getting it shaken, you know, in front of Yankee Stadium. Like, and I was no longer in that environment. So the scholarship and all that, it changed the course of my life and who I became and the man that I am today. And like, as they say, like, it's deeper than rap. Like, it's deeper than the scholarship. Like, it's just that safe place where I just get to go to school and be a kid like everybody else. Because I never felt that way before I got there. You know, so thank you to everybody. Alex Cox, the guy who played my scholarship, you know, Coach Brissett, Nisa Bryan, Coach Bill, of course, Antonio Ponte, and you and everybody that was a part of my journey.
But you deserved it, though, you know, and I think that's the thing that we have to, many young people just need a chance.
Yeah.
You know, and somebody to believe in them.
Yeah.
So your passion is definitely something that many people at Suffield appreciate.
Yeah.
So those are good words, brother.
Yeah. No, definitely. I love that place. So how strenuous is the applicant process?
I mean, you know, one of the things, you know, it's changed. We're 20% acceptance rate. You know, when I first started, we were probably right around 33%.
Yeah.
So more applicants. So it can be stressful, but it's a choice. You know, you're making a choice to go down this road and try to experience it. So to be quite honest, I haven't worn that hat since I was at the boys club. And ironically, I'm gonna wear that hat this year for the first time because my son is navigating through the process. And you know, we gonna try to get him at Suffield. He's gonna wear the black and orange, hopefully. But you learn. The key thing that people don't realize is parents are looking for an institution to help them raise their child. The most important people in their life. And I think sometimes in admission, we're focused on why shouldn't we take that kid or why should we take that kid? And it's a huge decision for families. Right. And I realize that more as I've navigated through the process with many families and my own child, you know, so I try not to take that for granted. But that's the strenuous part about it. Yeah. Like, these parents, they care about their children. They're trying to figure out what's the right place. And there's so many, a lot of the schools look the same. Some coaches are more attentive than others. Some kids don't want to play sports, but they want to find the right academic setting. Some kids just want to feel safe and happy and get away from the variety of things that are happening in their life. So, but it's a big decision for a 14-year-old and a family. So that's the strenuous part for me. You know, is trying to be empathetic and understanding that families are trying to make the best decision, and they don't know if they're gonna get in or not. Many times, so that can be stressful. And I'm good or bad. My team and I, we play a role in making those decisions. So I try not to take that lightly. You know.
Yeah, for me, what was it? March 10th, 2008.
That's the day,
That's the day I went to the mailbox and my life changed, you know? And it's crazy because I really went through that process with the boys club. Like, my parents didn't understand. My mom was just, you know, she's battling breast cancer at the time. My pops is holding down the fort. So all I had was the boys club and Bill and Antonio to get me through that. Because my parents were just like, oh, we don't got to pay next year? Cool. Like, all right, do what you got to do. And then when they went there, they were like, whoa, you didn't say what is this? You know, and my dad loved the calf. You know what I'm saying? He's like, where we going to eat? Like, the calf, bro. Like, what you talking about? I'm like, yo, I eat that every day. Like,
food is A1.
But the food is A1. Shout out to my guy, Hen Dog. You know what I'm saying? I gave him that name, too. You know what I'm saying? So what comes to mind when I say home team?
That goes back to the advisee piece, man. It's just something that we created many years ago with a group of kids that I had. And so that's my vibe, but that's everybody. You know, you develop special relationships with people, right? So the home team my advisory group has always been that, which is a funny thing. The home team is boys club all the time. So every you know, I coach basketball too, so that's always the home team. And then on a serious level, it's the 8 to 10 brothers in my life that keep me grounded.
Yeah.
You know, so it's like Sean. I take ownership of the home team for the people that I spend a lot of time with. You know, so it's a way of me. That's love. You know, you could put that hashtag on it. Home team.
Home team.
So yeah, you definitely on the home team for sure.
Yeah, that's a fact. I'm honored to be on the home
I love that. I love that energy.
UNC basketball.
Yeah, I just think it's important to understand that we beat Duke twice last year.
Yeah.
You know, I think it's really important, man.
Yeah.
And you could get all the high flying recruits, and but man, that was an amazing run.
Yeah.
You know, so I'm a big UNC fan.
Yeah.
I try to go to 3-4 games a year.
Yeah.
You know, shout out to my man RJ Davis, New York City guy. Always like to see New York City guys going doing that work at UNC. But
Yeah.
it's a crazy story, quick story. I was a Fab Five fan.
Yeah.
And they lost to North Carolina because C. Webb, you know, made that mistake. And I was crying uncontrollably. And my dad said, "What's wrong with you? Why are you crying?" Because he didn't know sports. He didn't know what to say. And he goes, "Well, why don't you just become a North Carolina fan? That's where Michael Jordan went to school."
Yeah.
And he came back with a fitted, you know, with the UNC fitted.
Yeah.
And that was it since that day.
Yeah.
You know, so I've always been a UNC fan. So I just, Dean Smith, the legendary coach, I just always had a tremendous amount of respect for him and how he recruited. And so my disdain for Duke is how I don't even like that royal blue garbage right there, man. You know, so but yeah, that we could talk about that for hours, but it's always UNC. And Hubert did a great job. And Roy Williams' birthday was the other day. So shout out to Roy.
Yeah.
I'm talking like they know me, but
Nah, they gonna know you.
when you're a fan, you gotta live in that bubble.
Yeah,
you know?
you do for sure.
Yeah, they do it the right way over there.
Yeah. Sean Jr.
Yeah. So I'm not gonna. This is the first time my words got mixed up. I think I'll be honest. I think being a father is the hardest thing that I've ever had to do.
Yeah.
Because my trauma. I said a lot of positive things about my dad. He's a good man, but you're a product of who your parents are, you know. And my father wasn't able to be around a lot.
Yeah.
So I'm around a lot, so I put a lot of pressure on my son.
Yeah.
And that's okay, right? But being a father is a difficult thing, and coming from where I'm from.
Yeah.
So early on in his life, I don't think I was the best father I could have been. You know, always there making good decisions, but really the expectations were unfair for a 5-year-old or a 6-year-old.
Yeah.
You know, so to watch him grow, you know, he was on a panel tonight, and to watch him talk is something that it's been fun to watch, man.
Yeah.
You know, and he's grown by himself. He's at boarding school doing his own thing. He's his own person.
Yeah.
One of the biggest regrets I have is calling him Sean Jr.
Yeah.
Even though I'm proud of, you know, but he's his own person. And his wit, his acting skills, but his smile is gonna take him very far. So I love all my kids, but Sean, that was really the start of me thinking about how I can be a better man.
Yeah.
So I say that in a vulnerable state that I just wasn't ready
Yeah.
to be a father in terms of understanding what it was to be a father, if that makes any sense.
That makes
you know?
total sense.
So he had to bear the brunt of me learning how to be a father. So, but I'm fortunate I have an amazing young man, 3 amazing kids, and you know it's gonna be fun to watch his journey as he navigates through adolescence. But that's my man, and now he gets a chance to wear my clothes and all that stuff, so I get to pass it on to him, or the little bit that I have. But that's my guy. Yeah.
Gavin.
Yeah, that's the young model, man. He thinks really highly of himself. He's, you know, I think Sean looks like me, has a heart like me.
Yeah.
Gavin is has that edge to him. That I had when I was young. And he's 10. You know, he's amazing, a good little athlete.
Yeah.
I was still wasn't great with him either.
Yeah.
You know, I was a little bit better. And it's been fun to watch his journey. He does a little bit of modeling, plays some sports. But he's a good kid. Like, you know, that's the thing that parents don't. I have good kids, you know, and they drive me crazy and I'm hard on them. But so it's been fun to watch him. I think he's gonna do amazing things. But he's tough, man.
Yeah.
You know, he's hard headed.
Yeah.
In his own way. But he's done some really cool things in a short period of time.
Yeah.
So I'm excited to see that young fella grow a little bit.
In fact, we got to get him a KIF sponsorship.
Yeah.
Got to be lit for us all.
Yeah. He likes to get fly a little bit, you know, but he doesn't know what he's doing. Sean got to try to Sean got to try to help him out a little bit, you know.
Yeah, I feel that. Juliet.
Yeah, I mean, I think the one thing about that I want to bring back to education is that I work with predominantly young men.
Yeah.
And then I went to Suffield, and you know, I'm doing the work, right? I work with, but understanding what it's like to be a you know, black and brown young lady is something that I didn't spend enough time thinking about.
Yeah.
In the work that I was doing, you know, I had a lot of different things I had to think about. When she was born, looking at her hair and me planning on hopefully they keep me at Suffield for a long period of time, it forced me to think about what a lot of those experiences were like for some of the young black and brown women women that have not only went to independent schools but went to Suffield. Mm-hmm. So it's easy to say, you know, Sean changed my life. He did, Gavin, but for Juliet, she gave me perspective.
Yeah.
You know, and thinking about what young women in general have to deal with that's different in the world that we live in.
Yeah.
So that's been really, for my profession, it's been great.
Yeah.
And there's nothing like walking in the door and seeing her smile at me.
Yeah. You picked her up once.
Yeah. Like she's always excited to see me. She's a good sister. She loves her little brother. I mean, her older brother. She's shy. Like those Sean and Gavin are not shy. She's shy.
Yeah.
She's beautiful. She's a beautiful queen, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, daddy's little girl is always gonna be daddy's little girl. But I'm happy that I was afforded the opportunity because my wife pushed me on it.
Yeah.
I didn't want to have, you know, because Sean is just turned 15. Gavin's about to be 11. You know, I was good.
Yeah.
You know, college, you know, I'm going to be poor for a little while, but got the 401k thing, I'm good, you know, and so I wasn't ready to have another child, but my wife really pushed it on me, and it's the overall, in terms of shaping me as a husband and a father and a person, that was the final piece. Yeah. You know, like to say you needed this in your life so you can understand what it's like, the experiences that women are having. Yeah. Specifically, you know, black and brown women. So I'm excited to watch her grow too, but also very nervous. Yeah. You know, so that sometimes that I gotta let her be 5. You know, and take those days one day at a time. Yeah.
No, that's amazing. I mean, I definitely, it's one thing seeing, you know, you on social media and Twitter and stuff, but it's another thing to sit here and hear it and have that conversation and learn from your perspective, you know. So definitely as a young father myself, I'm learning as well, you know, as busy as I am trying to conquer the world and save everybody, you know, but still be a present father and, you know, kind of slow down sometimes, you know. You know, you learn as you go, you know, but I got some good examples ahead of me, you know, so.
That's the word, being present. Yeah. You know, and also holding yourself accountable to grow. Yeah. And understand that it's learning every single day. Yeah. And as your kids learn, you learn. Yes. And try not to be too hard on yourself, but more importantly, try not to be too hard on your kids because of the things that, for anybody who've maybe experienced some of the things that we've experienced. Yeah. Because we still got to where we are. Yeah. And we're lucky to have healthy children. Yeah. You know, so be present as much as you can. Yeah.
So we're almost at the tail end. Black Lives Matter Zoom calls. You were emotional. You learned about our experiences at school. Why did you feel in a way that you weren't there for us?
Yeah, man, that was a tough time, right, in general, in terms of what our people were going through, right?
Yeah.
And so it was an emotional thing. I think you and kind of your group, right? I think I was very present there,
Yeah.
right? Because I feel like I was living vicariously through you guys, right?
Yeah.
Suffield is an amazing place, man, and the work that we've done, I think, is, I'm not going to say better, but I think overall our kids have, especially our students of color, have a really tremendous experience.
Yeah.
What I think what happened is when you get so comfortable
Yeah.
and you think you got it rolling, everything, you forget that the whole world is a work in progress,
Yeah.
and that young people on that call had experiences that I didn't know about.
Yeah.
And I'm a sensitive guy. It hurt me.
Yeah.
Because if I'm telling you in the interview that this is what kind of place it is and whatever it may be, and anybody from any background has a negative experience, I'm gonna take it.
Yeah.
I'm gonna feel the brunt of it.
Yeah.
I think I was so emotional listening to the stories because I felt like I didn't do anything.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, you weren't able to say, Mr. Atkins or Sean, this was happening.
Yeah.
Right? And I feel like that I'm lucky. I don't want to say I'm lucky. I think Suffield is fortunate to be the place that it is.
Yeah.
But it also made me think about all the young men and women of color that are at these predominantly white institutions
Yeah.
that didn't have like some of the people that the adults were on the call with you.
Yeah.
Or didn't feel like their voice mattered. They could say those things. So it was just a lot of emotion that went into it, you know.
Yeah.
And I think sometimes I feel like I let people. That's just who I am.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's okay.
Yeah.
And there's a maturity process that you have to. You can't do everything.
Yeah.
But listening to anybody's story, especially kids that I had a strong relationship, it was an emotional time. But it was an emotional time in
Yeah.
In the country.
Yeah.
And I think just to finish that. All of these schools are a work in progress.
Yeah.
But I do think we're at our very best right now.
Yeah.
And we need young people, all young people, to hold each other accountable and talk about things that they experience.
Yeah.
Because when you harbor those feelings, you have that. It's an isolated trauma that you go through, and nobody knows about it, right? So anybody, a young woman, students of color, any disenfranchised, anybody, you know, this doesn't mean that there's privileged students that go through a tremendous amount of things that people don't talk about, right?
Yeah.
It's not about race. It's about treating young people the right way.
Yes.
So your voice matters, and being able to articulate what happens in those experiences will force institutions to be better.
Yeah.
In providing the right outlets for young people to be successful. But yeah, it was definitely emotional.
Yeah. No, it definitely was. It was a tough time, but I think together we're learning. I think through conversation we learned a lot, you know, through just listening to one another and sharing those experiences. And I have to give a shout out to, you know, the Warrens, Mr. Yates, you know, to all the people that coordinate things, the people that have been a part of my journey. Shout out to Coach Brissett, you know, my guy. You know, all the friends that I made up there in Suffield, you know. Y'all definitely got to get me up there to address the school one day, though. But
Yeah, I know you.
got to make that happen, you know. But when the time is right, you know, things are going to align. You know, I'm going to keep doing what I got to do on my side. You know, Slice of Excellence going to the moon. And, you know, just doing what we got to do. So, last two things. Message to your younger self.
I said, I hate to be, it's try to be present in every opportunity that is afforded to you.
Yeah.
And take advantage of people who go out their way to be interested in what you're doing.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if I did that when I was young. I do know that I was lucky that certain people had an impact on me.
Yeah.
But definitely academically, I didn't take advantage of early opportunities.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that the last part is don't be so hard on yourself.
Yeah.
I spent a lot of time trying to figure out why I felt things were unfair. And I look back now and from where I came from and the odds, you know, I remember crying at 25 because I didn't think I was gonna make it to 25.
Yeah.
Fam, you went to prep school, you went to Bates College,
Yeah.
But it was the trauma I had at 10. It just happened when I turned 25, and I was like, oh, I can't believe I made it.
Yeah.
You know, but in perspective,
I feel that.
I was privileged, man. Like, you know, I had all things that so many people didn't have.
Yeah.
So I think being present and understanding that life is about a journey, and the adversity that you experience is what shapes you.
Yeah.
Is key. But yeah, you know, stop and don't be so. I think I did have 2 years in my life where I think probably 13 or 15 where I was nasty, man.
Yeah.
I was so insecure and unhappy that all I did was try to make other people feel terrible.
Yeah.
And my man Shaz, shout out to my man Shaz, and in my yearbook he said, you know, it was so much fun hanging out with you, but try to spend less time making fun of people.
Yeah.
And it was one of the most powerful things that anybody has said to me. So
Yeah.
that's a message for sure.
For sure. Message to the youth.
I think it's okay to make yourself vulnerable.
Yeah.
It's okay to ask for help. It's okay to be confused, all those things, right? You know, but authenticity and being who you are is key, right? Be true to yourself and understand that you're constantly evolving.
Yeah.
So that's a big message, but most importantly is always be a self-advocate.
Yeah.
Reach out to people. There's so many people that can help you on your journey, and sometimes we're scared to put ourselves out there.
Yeah.
You know, and that's something. And it's, you know, the way I want to wrap up, and not to spin it because I didn't speak enough about it. I talk a lot about people I met and what they did for me and the impact they had. My wife, man, you know how fortunate I am to be married to a woman that grew up and understands me for who I am. She could care less about anything I've ever done.
Yeah.
I just have to be the best husband and the best father to my kids.
Yeah.
She's the strongest person. So many things that she's experienced, and how goal-oriented she is. She really changed my life.
Yeah.
Turned 25, I talked about crying. I didn't tell you about the party that was after that, right? The bottles and all that. And,
Yeah.
and we were seeing each other, hanging out for a long time. And she said, I'm glad you had fun. You know, like, let's hang out, let's have dinner, but I'm not interested in doing this anymore. You know, I have a career. I'm a nurse. I know what I want to do. You still living with your friends. No money in the bank. Living check to check. You got to make a decision. And I was like, God, man, we've been friends for whatever, like, you know. And I woke up the next day and said, she's pretty cool, man. Like, I don't know if you want to let her walk out your life. And I think about, you know, March 30th, 2006. Wait, 2006, man. And where I am now, without her, I'm still working. I have a lot to accomplish, but she's the true backbone of our family and inspires me all the time. And the fact that she's from the Lower East Side is just, you know,
Yeah.
and she looks good too. Is not a bad thing too. So, but I'm super fortunate, man.
Yeah.
To have her in my corner.
Yeah.
Because she holds, you know, she's the boss. You know what I mean? So, so that's how, you know, for me.
Yeah.
She's really shaped me. You know. And I think we all say, oh, this person did this, and none of this would happen. I would have opportunities, but in terms of developing to the person I am today, even going to Suffield, it was about, she made that decision.
She made this shit, yeah.
It was all about her. So, I'm, you know, I love her. You know, she's good to me, and so I feel fortunate to have her in my life.
Yeah,
and it helps me have relationships with people like yourself.
Yeah,
you know, because I could be Sean from the Lower East Side.
Yeah.
If it's all doesn't work out and I get fired, she'll figure out. You know, she'll make sure that I got a couple dollars in my pocket.
Yeah.
You know?
Definitely shout out to Titi Yas.
Yeah.
Definitely thank you for all the Spanish food you cook for us. You know what I'm saying? Giving us a taste of home.
She don't cook
we
no
was
more.
over
She
there.
don't like to cook.
Yeah.
Man, I try.
I mean, I had my fish. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? She held it down for us.
Nah, it's
You know, for the home team.
I definitely.
You know,
want
but this was such a pleasure, Sean. You know, and it was short notice, but we were able to, you know, everything aligned. You know, I knew I would do this someday, but I didn't know it would come this fast. But we in a fly studio, we not far from L.E.S. It's only right. You know what I'm saying? So Suffield, this is for you, but more importantly, L.E.S., we did it, baby.
Always, man.
Make sure you like, subscribe, comment, check this out. It's gonna drop in 2 weeks, episode 103. And we're just going to title it Sean Atkins. That's it.
That's love, brother.
That's
Good
love.
luck.
You know what I'm
Good luck on
saying?
your journey, baby.
Appreciate you, OG.
All right.
Absolutely.